If you're not listening to the JAYREELZ Podcast, here's what you're missing out on.
But the thing that really has me bothered, and for the millions, and I get the NFL fan out there and me being in the minority when it comes to this, to have these pro days, which is going to get a lot of pub only because there was no combine this year, and we understand the reasons why. We don't have to get into it. But all these pro days that have been taking place, where you've had your Alabama pro day, you've had your Clemson pro day, you had this school, that school, etc., down the line. And when all the reports coming out of it, wow, Mac Jones, he's a guy that's going to probably head up the draft boards, or wow, look at the throw day that this guy had, or Trey Lance, or the kid from BYU, Zach Wilson. I hate to say this, people. I do not care. It's so bad that ESPN in particular, and remind you, baseball is on their network too. But ESPN, on the day of opening day, where it's supposed to be all confetti and rainbows, that everybody's supposed to rejoice because although it's not 75, 80 degrees throughout the whole country, but spring is here. Baseball, when it's part of our conscious, we know that warmer days lie ahead. And for them to, on all their shows, dissect these pro days and which quarterback's going to go where, and oh, this guy's moving up the draft board, and give me a flipping break. I couldn't care if they were throwing the football in my backyard. I pull the blinds. Because let's face it, people, I understand that the NFL is a 12-month news cycle. I get it that the NFL reigns supreme. I get it that it's all about the NFL, all these talk shows, First Take, Undisputed, whatever these talk shows that I don't even spend a nanosecond watching. And that's the truth. But for them to big up football now in their dead period and push baseball to the side, which I get that it's a sport that it's more for the older folk. It's not for the younger folk. It's not going to bring that young fan to the set to watch. Sadly, the fans want to hear more about KD and his exchange with Michael Rappaport than they want to hear about, oh, what's going to happen here on opening day when it comes to teams like the Baltimore Orioles, who are now 3-0 in the AL East. And is it going to sustain? Of course not. But again, they're not going to highlight that. We get it doesn't bring ratings. But this stuff with the NFL draft, and it's not even here, and these pro days, give me a break. It's just a complete waste of time. Because if Zach Wilson gets chosen by the Jets at number 2, and he plays throughout the year, and in a game against New England sometime in mid-October when he's throwing 4 interceptions and he's getting sacked 7 times, is anybody going to remember his throw day on March 31st? Is anybody going to remember Trey Lance throwing for 80 yards on a dime when he's holding a clipboard on the sideline on whatever team he gets drafted by? I mean, it's an absolute joke. You know, that should be the 5th or 6th story that goes on in the news cycle. But no, it has to be number 1 because the NFL, and we understand that they're in bed with the Shield. Understood. But no, sadly, it's let's push all the other sports aside, except maybe basketball because we have to have our basketball takes. But baseball, oh, who cares? Nobody cares about opening day. Nobody cares about what's happening on the diamond. Let's talk about Mac Jones' throw day. Oh, jeez. I'm just sick of it. And this is one of the reasons why I can't stand the NFL. Because, and I get they have the power unlike any other sport in this country and pretty much throughout the world. But geez, man, they just leave other sports in its wake. And I'm just tired of it. That's why I love baseball. It's my first love overall, people, as you may or may not know. But that's why I don't look forward to football season. Because what that means is that summer's over, colder days lie ahead, and yes, I'll be ready week 1 of the NFL season, don't get me wrong. But when all this talk about training camp and exhibition, please, give me a break. Football season, I can wait. I won't even look at the time to worry about football season. When it comes, it comes. But that's, unfortunately, the sports world that we live in. It's NFL, and everybody else is paying rent. So I just had to throw in my 2 cents about that. So